Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to a new week of trading. Hope everyone had a good, relaxing weekend. Was able to get a little back testing in and ready for a week full of trading. So far, I checked the calendar. I don't think there's no news today. So we should be able to trade without any interruptions. We won't have a lot of volatility, but there shouldn't be any interruptions. And anyone who's been watching the chart so far, you can see that once we opened up yesterday at 1800, we've pretty much just um, been exclusively buying since then, which is a little bit surprising. Generally, on the weekend, when you have the open, it may run to a certain price level, but then it'll consolidate and just kind of wait on price to open the next morning. It's not what we had, though. It started to build up and then it just ran into London and just continued. So far, we just had a complete classic buy day, and looks like we're completing a market maker buy model here. We had a key level here that was taken, small retracement, key level right here, new day opening gap from Friday, tiny retracement back to Friday's 8:30 open, and it looks like we're gonna clear this level to complete the buy model. I'm gonna put up my previous session highs and lows and midnight and go ahead and move those around a bit. Just give me a moment and we'll wait for a few others to join. Let's see. Janus, Robin, Richard, good morning. But Asia high has already been traded through. The Asia low has not. Then when it comes to London, London high has, London low has not. Let's take out the lines that do not have any markings on them. Hey, Sniper, Chuck, good morning. All right, let's quickly take a look at the dollar and see where we landed for the week and where we are today. right, here on the weekly, we can see that we have a bearish fair value gap here that was created from last week. All right, so we're going to be fighting with this early in the week, whether this fair value gap pushes price down or whether price pushes through it and it just shows that it's not even relevant. So this one is no longer relevant. All right, so we have a bearish one above that sent price down last time. And then we have another one that was generated between the last 3 weeks candles, which we now are sitting right here. And should we trade lower, we have a bullish one below. But right now, the one that matters the most is right here in front of us, and it's just ahead, and it's a bearish one. So let's go down to the daily and see if we've traded into it already. In fact, it was already created on the daily, which we traded into on Thursday and Friday. All right, so this is going to be something that to really monitor today, whether we reject again at the 50% push down, even if we get a little higher, still reject. We don't want price pushing up into these equal highs or anything. So we want to make sure that we're getting a rejection out of the dollar here. Okay, let's see what ES is showing us so far. Okay, very similar to NQ, just opened up yesterday and just been pushing higher so far. And there isn't any news today, so we'll see what the opening bell brings, since that's going to probably be our most volatile moment of the day. All right, looks like we're trying to reclaim this fair value gap here that was traded through and closed below on Friday. But so far, it's already traded back above. So I would delete it because it wasn't validated on the closure here, but it can be reclaimed. So let's see if that happens. All right, if we get a closure somewhere up in here, and then tomorrow we get a trade back in and above, that's very possible. But we'll keep an eye out on that as well. Still trading in between the range of these two candles. Candle from Friday the 8th and Tuesday the 5th. Right. And let's take a look at Nasdaq and see if it's the same thing. So these were those equal lows I wanted it to trade past last week. I was hoping it would do it early in the week, and then we would have saw a recovery in the back half of the week. However, it traded up in the front half of the week and then traded down in the back half of the week. So we landed below here. I was hoping it would do something like this candle, sweep these lows and still wind up bullish, but wasn't to happen. So if we get a continued push up and somewhere we get a failure along this wick, then we could be looking for lower prices throughout the rest of the week. If we get a failure along the wick and it started pushing down, then next week we'd also be looking for lower prices, possibly into this range here. Let's see if this is a daily fair value gap. Okay, it needs to be adjusted. It belongs here. Okay, this must be one of those casualties when I switched over to the new contract. All right, so we're now trading inside of the bullish fair value gap here on the daily. We traded a little bit past the halfway mark, but we're now pushing out and potentially going to take out Friday's high. So if we take out Friday's high, that's a good signal, but we're not out of the woods yet. Before we're really bullish again, we need to get above 18,427. So that's above Thursday's high. On the daily time frame, we want to get above Thursday's high. Now we'll get back down to our regular scheduled program and we'll watch the opening bell here. We have several levels that have not been taken over the last several days, so we'll keep those on the screen here. You have the midnight open pretty low down at 18,126. And 8:30 obviously is closer to where we are now, but we had a big candle trading at 7 o'clock. So there's a pretty sizable gap there. Looks like 150 points roughly. So let's keep that in mind just in case price gets trapped between the 8:30 and the midnight. We may have a 150 point range. Price trades back and forth today. All right, it's 8:28. So let's get ready for the opening bell. Yes, we did break higher time frame structure on the hourly. We traded below the, sorry, not on the, on the daily. I'll show you here. Right here on, so this was our key low here beforehand. And we traded below there on Friday. Yep, and closed below. Remember we had those equal lows here that we were looking at. Because I remember when this one traded down on this day and we thought it was going to sweep this low and it got really close and traded back up. So we had equal lows from Tuesday the 5th and February 29th. And we did sweep those on Friday and close below. So now we're pushing back up. We could find this little area here and then sell back off. And so that's why even when we're looking at ES, I was like, let's check and see if we actually take over this wick here or if we fail somewhere along the wick or right at the candle body. And then we start pushing lower. We want to get above this London high from Thursday. So above 18,432-ish, that area. Hey, Molly, good morning. All right, 10 seconds and the opening bell is here. Excuse me. Oh, Templar, Dorcas, good morning. How's it going, everyone? All right, we're 5 minutes into the opening range here. You can see we pushed off the 8:30 open at 283. We're already up 50 points on that. 301's taken. Let's go ahead and delete that. All right, so it looks like we've cleared Friday's high. Friday's high was at 322. So, yep, that's been cleared now. Remember, we're looking for Thursday at 428, 428 to give us a little more confidence in bullish pricing. And Swag, good morning. How goes it? Move that down to 5 minutes. See if we don't get a clearer picture that way. This 1 hour fair value gap we have just ahead of us. We also have that on the 15-minute and the 4 hour. So that's may actually be a bit stronger than I originally planned for. So let's see how price reacts at that fair value gap. Oh, thank you, Francois. Appreciate it. Yeah, Francois, I had some practice on your name. I used to work for the French shipping company CMA CGM, and so I work with a lot of French colleagues, and so I was able to get some practice. All right, cool, calm, collected. Good morning. Ready for another week? Let's see if we can't do better this week. All right, so we're getting a rejection out of the 50% mark here. Let's see. Okay, that's not going to work. Do this. There we go. Yep, right at the 50% mark, right there. Well, since we've been seeing bullish momentum ever since we opened up yesterday, or since the market reopened yesterday, then that tells me that we likely have a very large regular trading hour gap. Yep, just as I was expecting. Right, we had price on Friday at 415, closed down at 18073, and then we had it reopen at 930 at 18283. So about 200 points is the gap here. You see it highlighted here in this yellow color. All right, so at some point in time, we're going to expect price to break back down and at least cover in half of this, if not the full thing. It may not happen today. It could happen tomorrow or Wednesday, but sometime this week, I'm expecting for this gap to, as a minimum, fill in halfway and possibly fill in all the way. Go back to electronic trading hours. Okay, looks like now we've traded into a little more than 3/4 of the fair value gap. So we'll probably trade through the whole thing. And up above, we still have New York and London high from Friday. Or maybe that's not even Friday. Maybe it's a different day. Okay, likely that might be Thursday then. Yep, it sure is. So we have Thursday, London and New York high. We had this last candle dig all the way through trading on the other side, but the rejection is very near to the previous candle where we see it on the other side below the fair value gap. All right. So here on the lower time frame, we're inside the macro, so I decided to shift down. Looks like we have swept equal lows. We didn't close below those equal lows, but we have swept them. Well, Jay, good morning. JR, how's it going? Miss Healthy, good morning. Yep, definitely looks like the short is setting up. You had the rejection out of the fair value gap here. You had a sweep of a low. You had another push up and rejection out of the fair value gap. And this is on the lower time frame. You can see how it played off of the 50% of the breaker. Hey, Doc, good morning. Okay, now we've had another low that's been tapped and dropped. Okay, switch down to the next target. Oh, okay, sniper. Thank you. No, Sniper, there's no high impact news today. The first news event is tomorrow at 8:30. Oh, sorry, looking at the wrong one. My apologies. Tomorrow at 8:30 we have medium impact, which is the building permits, and the first high impact is Wednesday at 2 p.m. for FOMC. Let's see if we get a sweep of this little short-term low down past the other swing low, 18,303. All right, there's the swing low just dropped. It's the same spot, which is good. Okay. Swing low just got tapped through. If anyone had a TP there. And now up next will be the ultimate swing low that was just pushed out of here for the opening bell. So now we're going for the lows of the opening bell potentially. Prior to getting there, though, is the 8:30 open. And another 1 hour bearish fair value gap that we've already traded through this hour. So in order for that bearish fair value gap to be invalidated on the hourly time frame, we need to close above in the next 2 minutes. And so let's see if we close above it or inside. Yes, I believe so as well. A dot that yeah, FOMC is going to be, need to pay attention and be careful this week, but it should be good. Hey Ray, good morning. Welcome. Hi Molly, good job. Look at you. I should have took it. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe it's just, Monday morning jitters. You want to get in and get connected to the market and make sure that what you see is what you actually see. So I should be primed and ready for the next one, but I did let that first one pass me by. Molly, do I remember correctly? Are you relatively new to trading? What's your trading experience? Okay, so it's 10 o'clock now. We've now crossed over into the next hour. So let's see. I think the previous candle closed one tick inside of the fair value gap to leave it open. Okay, so now if it trades below and closes below now this fair value gap and it comes back up, we'll probably push price lower. All right, ADOT, good job. Way to go. Yeah, look at this rejection here, all the way up, back down. Okay, Molly, great. Here you are 6 months in, and you're already caught the rejection of the opening range back down to the start of the opening bell. So good job on that. You've already reached your goal for the day. So let's see if you can add some on top. Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. Glad you are finding value in the stream and that it's helping out your trading. So yeah, again, congratulations on the winning trade just a few minutes ago. All right, now let's see if we get a retest of these equal lows. So we have 1, 2, 3 candles, same low on them, right down at the 8:30 open. Also, the breaker block that sent price up at the opening bell is also there as well. So in order to get where I have marked out here, we'll have to actually invalidate the breaker block here. But that's fine. The breaker block's already been used for what it needed to be used for, and that was to get price up to this fair value gap ahead. Also, it swept several levels from Friday. So yeah, so it's already been used for what it needed to be. Another 4 minutes on the macros. In fact, these three equal lows I was just talking about, the first one actually tapped the breaker to the tick right on the breaker, the same breaker that sent price up at opening bell. So maybe we'll get a little push out here. And if we do, this is my level. Looking for 331. See what kind of reaction we get at 331. Thank you, A Dot. Appreciate you. It look like it might just push through this level. Ten seconds on this candle. Let's see where it closes. All right, so the candle made a new high, slightly bearish, not really bearish. All right, tapped into the breaker once again. Now let's shift our focus over to this manipulation leg and see if that's where it wants to go. Trade has now made it to the 50%. Let's now see how that reaction. A dot. No, I have never heard of this person. Ben, I believe is the name. Hey, Queen. Good morning. Welcome. I mean, I figured you and the crew was in on the London session, and that's why you may be a little slow getting in this morning. Laughter done. Nice. Way to take that bounce. I yes. Can't make more than 1,500 on a on a 50,000 account. That's correct. Definitely on Topstep. That's the case. If you're on Apex and it's a 1 day challenge, then you can make the full amount. If it's a 2 day challenge, then it's probably the same as Topstep. Yeah, when I woke up this morning and I pulled up the charts and I saw basically we've been trading higher since we reopened at 1,800 yesterday. I was like, holy crap. Um, not knowing exactly what that was going to do to price. I generally hate when it goes in the bias direction straight out the gate on Sunday. But then again, just take what it gives you and adjust. Mhm. Yep. All right. Does anyone know the consistency rules for Apex where you could help out Chuck? All right, so we're back at the 1 hour fair value gap that after the opening bell, and we saw the run up right around 9:45 or so. We saw two rejections out of this level, back down to the breaker, and then now so far we're on the third candle that's trying it again. Hello, up, good morning, and welcome. I think this is the first time I've seen your username here, so welcome to the channel. All right, Chuck. I hope Ray's answer was helpful for you. All right. Ever since the macro ended, we've basically had consolidating price. So it traded up at the opening range, and rejected, traded back to the opening value from the opening bell. Then we started building out once again, and when we got around here was when the macro ended, and then price just kind of traded between the high that it was at and the candle body. It looks like the high might be swept now. I would expect it to take both at the same. So right here and right here. There it is. The last 2 seconds of one candle and the first 2 seconds of the next. Oh, good morning. Good morning, Armando. How's it going? An hour bullish breaker. 5. Mm. Yep. Yeah, you're right, Queen. I see that now. I saw it earlier because I had identified the breaker that was at Friday from like 4 to 6 a.m. That was just well, it's not really confirmed yet. It might be confirmed this hour if we can close above. But I saw the one below, and I was wondering if we should use that one or if the wicks were too long for that on the 1 hour. Appreciate your laughter. I really do. Forward to NVIDIA press conference results. Okay. Me Let me measure out this on the 1 hour, the bullish range. Okay, yeah, we are at the 75%. Right about that. 78% is at 393. 83.5% is at 416, and 88% is at 442. Yes, Templar. I generally I don't trade news events, but I use news events to aid my trading. All right, everyone. While we watch this retracement candle trade back down to the 1 hour fair value gap here, I'm going to run off and grab a refill of my coffee. Just give me about 1 to 2 minutes. I'll be right back. All right, and back. Let's see where we are. Looks like so we retraced it back into, yep, hourly fair value gap once again. This will be invalidated if we close out the hour above, but we'll see. We'll see where we are when we get to the end of the hour. Oh, you went long on crude. Okay. This high here is creating a trend line, which it looks like it's breaking now, which is good. All right, let's go and take a look at ES. Right, so it looks like the dollar's really just kind of been consolidating since Friday. Hasn't really left out of the range, even though it appears to be buying up the last 3 hours, just like the indices. Strange. Right. So Dow has not traded above this little swing high here, which we see on S&P, traded above like 7 o'clock this morning, and pretty much the same thing 5 o'clock this morning on NQ. So Dow was trailing behind, getting over the hump here, and then shooting for this high. All right, switch back over, video back up. One, 103.5. Yeah, let me look and see what did I think on my analysis yesterday when I was looking at the week. Let me just go back to what I had for the dollar. Okay, yep. So I had the dollar buying up to 103.5 and then hoping that it would fail there and push lower. Yep. If we get a close above 103.6, which is slightly above where that city was, then I have price going to maybe 104.2 prior to shifting downwards. So we'll see how it reacts once it gets to 103.55. But if it closes above 103.6, then it may be going higher. MSC, good morning. How's it going? Trades 351. Okay, I'm going to drop down to the 1 minute now. So on this last leg up, we attempted to take these highs and continue to put in higher prices. But however, that did fail on multiple attempts, which is why you see now price pushing lower. Probably get back down to where these lows are and test it again. See if it wants to sweep the lows or again push up. What did he say? Oh, 3K in both accounts. All right, MSC, good job. Way to go. Yeah, this morning setup was pretty clean, especially if you took the retracement after the opening bell about 9:45. If you took that retracement back down, that was a good one to take. Also, a lot of people took the 10 o'clock move back up. On a PM low to high. Okay. All right, Templar. Way to go. All right, up ahead at 420 and 428, we have the March 14th New York and London high, just in case we start seeing higher prices. We still have those Thursday session highs. Yep, so here we are. So we retest these levels here to see if he wants to push lower or if that's going to be exactly the same as what we got here, where that was another price leg upwards. Oh, okay. Were they 50,000 accounts MSE? Because if they were, then yes, you should have passed both. Probably just have to wait until the end of the trading day when they recalibrate all the accounts. So we have price now retracing and testing the 50% of this retracement leg, these two candles pulling back before the last leg up. All right. We are closing in on the end of the hour here. We're getting close to 11 o'clock, our final hour of trading this morning. Six. Have some lunch. All right, A Dot, we'll catch you on the next one this afternoon. So we'll see you in a couple hours. Yep. Yep. So we got dollar at 103.5 and uh yeah, above that I think is at 104 point something. Let me go back to my weekend roundup. Yeah, 104.4 ish, level 104.3, something like that. Yeah, if it makes it back up to 104.2, where that weekly CIBI is, that's also where the OTE is from the leg down starting in October all the way down into the start of the year. So we've already traded into there and rejected 4 weeks ago. So that would be a return to that same level. Three 46. Okay, so we did close above that 1 hour selling bearish fair value gap that we were trading above. And so that one has now been invalidated and it's no longer on the screen. Yep. So the next 1 hour fair value gap we have is down at 260. So it's both of the ones we see down in this level. So we're gonna have to get below the 830 open if we're gonna touch any 1 hour fair value gaps below. Right, coming back down. Looks like we're gonna retest all 6 of these equal lows. Getting close, but not quite there yet. There it is. So we finally had a break of all of these lows over here. Also, there was a fair value gap right here, a bullish one. It's pierced through that as well. That also, since this was the low that created this high, right? We now have a break of structure here. Miss Healthy, sorry, I'm a little late on your question. It generally does, yes. And equals, it's not necessarily that it targets equals, but equals is just kind of a signature that it leaves behind to let you know that it's coming back to its particular level. I don't know if it does that to get people to become comfortable in putting their stop there. If you see that it has tested a level 3 or 4 times and it's held each time, you're more likely to grab your stop from down here and shift it up to this level, thinking that it's going to hold. So after it holds several times and creates a new high, then it comes back to get it. Because when price is in this area, most people's stop losses are still down here at the previous leg. And then once you take this high and you get a push up again, then everyone comes down and grabs their stop from here, and then they shift everything up and place it here. So that's likely why price always comes to take equals. Now it can be, if it's just a liquidity grab, it could just come down, tap in, and then turn back around and continue on its way. Right. In this case, we had a pierce below, it closed below. So at least on this time frame, we had a closure below the level. Now we're getting a retracement back into the range. So now we're going to see how it reacts right here at the 50% of this up leg. Okay, so that's about here. To 1 minute fair value ground, 357. Go back to the 5 minute now. Now that we're no longer looking at macros. All right, Jay. Yeah, stay in the game. We'll find a good entry. All right, so looking at this in hindsight, I can see two entries here for the breaker. Let me just show you where they are. The first one would be on this bearish candle here on the 5-minute, where we had a pierce through the upper edge here above the wick on this candle twice. And then we had a closure below, a trade back into 50% at 364 and then a trade down. So that would be the first one. And the next one is more or less following the structure of the candles to where we have essentially a low here going to a high, going to another low, back up to a high, and we crash through this low and close here. Okay, so if I grab this and pull this out for you to see, when it returns here, this is where you want to look for an entry. Okay, so whenever you see price do this is when you want to then go and get in right at that edge. So in that case, it would have been right here at 348. And so we had a closure on the 11 o'clock candle, and the 11:05 candle traded right above 348 with a little small wick. And then the next candle, we saw the price go down. So the entries was either at 356 or 348. Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit odd for dollar to be charging these last ever since the morning session began, or even pre-market, with all the other indices also the last 3 hours. All three have just been bullish the entire time. So that was odd. I mean, it's not odd to see them move in the same direction, but for 3 consecutive hours is not normal. Yeah, S&P and Dow have both found bearish fair value gaps to trade into. So that's one reason why they're seeing lower prices. We did not see the same for NQ, I don't think. No, so NQ closed above its bearish fair value gap last hour. That's why. Right, trading from the bearish breaker now down to the bullish breaker. So we'll see how strong the bullish breaker is, whether it's able to hold price or not. Hey, Queen, can you take a look at the hour? I got a breaker marked up on the hourly time frame from those 3 consecutive candles on the 17th, from like 6 to 8 in the morning. Let's pull it up here. All right, so it's essentially these 3 candles. Get to 50%, we're gonna have to go below the 830 open to get down here. Unless the breaker is only gonna be this last candle here. And in that case, we've already traded into 50% of it, and we're starting to see some type of rejection here. So let me just leave it here and see how it see how it continues to develop. Let's go back to the 5-minute. Actually, the 10. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, in this case, the wicks are so massive. I won't even put the wicks up there. Well, the one that was, you said 15th at 10 a.m., that's just below the midnight open. So if we get a trade all the way down to the midnight, then that's likely more support to be found. Well, on 1 hour, it's been pushing bullish, so I'm running with that for now. Right, had a 1 minute breaker. I was trying to get a short scalp on that didn't hold. Yeah, right. We had a push out of a bearish breaker here. Now finding itself back inside of a bullish breaker that hasn't really retraced back to yet. And so now we're trying to see if it finds support here and pushes back up, or if it just trades right through to some of the lower PD arrays. Let's see. I have it marked up as the bullish breaker. Yes, I do. With a midpoint down at 265. It's a rather large zone though, so I'm not sure I'm looking at it as an entry. But as far as a possible turnaround zone, absolutely. equal lows here, may sweep that, and then take the swing low next to it down to another set of equal lows. Lower, and here's the equal lows we've talked about. We'll check back in a half hour and see if price is above this breaker or if it's still below. In fact, this is just the top candle of those three that I mentioned. So I'll just go ahead and drop this one for now. Hey, Vivian, good morning. Yeah, I'm also just trading what I see. I'm not trying to um, force anything. I like my original assessment from yesterday, just before the market opened, is I was looking for it to push lower first and then maybe see if we could push higher. The fact that it took off and started pushing higher, then I said, okay, fine. If it wants to be bullish, then I'll be bullish with it. So it just depends on how price wants to move. All right, we're going to retest this 830 open here along with this bullish breaker here. So far, the 830 open is giving us 12-point bounce there. We had a breaker structure here. Not a shift yet, but we did get a poke through on the wick here down to the 830 open. And so we'll see if it wants to close below these two candles down at around 18,295 or 285. Sorry, 18,285. Can't say I'm the best at mitigation blocks here, but I believe mitigation block is typically when price rebalances. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's what it is. And so, Robin, which candle are you talking about? 348 at 1032. Okay, let me find it. 1032. Once it went below, so over here. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure there. Sorry. Yeah, I took one trade, Jay. I've already taken one. In fact, it wasn't that long ago. It was probably somewhere around 30 minutes ago, maybe. Mm. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, let me see what I think is going on. So in this case, typically a mitigation block would be if you went long here because you have this long trend, it retraced, you went long, it failed, it started breaking below. So then the mitigation would be here when price traded back up to it. Right. So we traded below that level. So it's the same level you talked about. Yes, we traded below it. And so in this case, where this level is, you would have originally been long. And so the mitigation is your offside price is trading down. And so you wait for it to trade back in and then you exit your trade. But yeah. So Robin, that's what it would have been. So right here at 348 on this candle at 1110, you would have been exiting your long at break even or some minimal loss because you probably didn't get in at the wick. You probably got in somewhere up here, right? You may have even gotten in when it retraced back and you found this little gap right here. And when it got right here, you probably entered, but then it just went down on you. So in that case, when it retraced back up and it got to this line here, 1348, you would have exited at whatever small loss you had. And then you would have went back in as a short from here. Yep. So yeah, you were on the right track there. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, Queen, sorry to hear that. Sorry about that. All right, your win rate is pretty high. I'm sure you'll get right back in the saddle and start taking profits again. That's for sure. Your strategy definitely works. Just stick to it. Yes, I look at that 1 hour. As much as I don't want to see it, it looks like a market maker buy model. Yep, dollars inside that SIBI right now. It's in there. So we can come here and we'll see right inside of that weekly SIBI starting at 103.528. I'm sorry, not a weekly. It's in the 1 hour. That's right. That's what it is. I was talking about the weekly, but it's currently in the 1 hour. Let me just find that. Okay, so week is at 556, 103.556. So it's almost. Oh, okay, so on the 1 hour, when it gets to the consequent encroachment, that's the start of the weekly. So right here. What did I say? 556. All right, close enough. All right, everyone, we got about 15 minutes left in this morning session before we get to the lunch hour. See, where is the D? Yeah, it's almost there. Not quite. It's made it as far as 0.548. It needs to get to 0.556. So yeah, it got really close to it. Two six six. Okay. You know what? Hey, 8:30 open taken. Okay. And we got 50% here. Granted, this is a smaller breaker here on the 5-minute time frame, I believe. At 9:59, we had a tap that then sent price much higher, what 288 all the way up to 380, so almost 100 points higher. Then we had a slightly deeper tap here down to the 830 open, only produced a modest move here, and now we have the deepest retracement so far. And we'll see if it still holds or if now is the time for it to finally collapse. Goes below the 5 a.m. bearish breaker. Okay. That, oops. So we also have 50% of this. And we have a consolidation zone here, which may hold price. So it's a lot of things going on in this one area, which is why we're starting to see some sort of bullish prices. It doesn't mean we're running up to the top. It just means that we're retracing back into this level. We did just close lower below the previous swing low. Right, this line here represents half, 50% of this leg up. All right, let's get back down to the 1 minute. Oh, it did. All right, let's see. Yeah, the dollar got 50% almost to the tick. It's a couple ticks short, but to me, that counts the same as it actually getting it. It came too close not to count that. Yep. Yeah, so it's right there. So now let's see how dollar responds during lunch, and then when we open up next during the next session, hopefully we get some bearish momentum and it starts to seek lower prices. Sherbert, we tape read every day. Tape read every day. Assuming this is your first day here. Yep, Sherbert. So we tape read every day. Now, I do take trades as well, but 99% of what I'm doing is tape reading. And then when my setup comes that I want to take a trade, then I will. But so that's kind of the flow of this channel here. It's mostly tape reading. It's different people in the channels talking about things that they see. We're all different style traders and we see different things. And so when we see things, usually you'll see someone post it as far as what they're waiting for or what's confirming their entry and those kind of things. So most of us are tape reading on our side and providing comments whenever we can. What type of setups do you like to take, Sherbert? Right, Queen, looks like you're getting your wish. Traded right back up into 50% of the last leg, which the last leg that failed, which was from this low right here to this high. Then we had a breakdown below, sweeping the lows over here. Marked out 50% of that most recent leg. Watch price trade right back up to it, fail, and now we're going for these lows. Right. Now we're coming from here, there, and there we go. So now we have a new low. All right, so this is where we are. I know I do not have a video that explains what I'm looking for. But if you're familiar with ICT, I'm trading breakers is what I'm looking for. And so that's a lot of what you see me drawing on the screen. You'll see me talking about it. There's a few other traders also who likes breakers. Unicorn Queen is one. So you'll also see her talking about breakers. And so we'll be going back and forth. But typically that's what I'm looking for are breakers. All right, everyone. Unfortunately, our morning session has come to a close. And thank you all for being here. Thanks for everything that you do. On your way out, make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. Let's try to see if we can get a lot of likes on the video. Make sure that YouTube is promoting us properly. If you haven't already, also go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you get invitations to future trading sessions that we host. And yeah, we're going to take a 1 hour break and we'll be back for the afternoon session in just an hour. Okay. All right, everyone. Take care. And I'll see you in an hour. Cheers.